Hello, children. Hope you're all doing fine. Welcome to the world of English. This is Vijaya Lakshmi, your English teacher for today's session. I'm going to deal the C reading section from your 8th unit. But before we enter into the part 2, which I am going to deal today, let us have a quick recap of the first part of the lesson, the dead rat. Let us check out the important characters in the story, which are Madananka, Ratnanka, grandmother, mother, and Yakshadatta. Children, I hope you remember this picture, which happens to be appear in your first part. In this picture, you can clearly see Yakshadatta, Ratnanka, and the dead rat. In the city of Ujjain, there was a young merchant named Madananka. He was a jobless person. His mother thought that he would become normal and settle down in his life if he gets married. So she found a suitable girl for him and they were married. But Madananka did not change. Instead, he left his mother and his pregnant wife and went away from his house. Madananka's wife gave birth to a boy who was named as Ratnanka. Ratnanka's grandmother and his mother brought him up by undergoing lot of efforts. Ratnanka's grandmother suggested him to approach Yakshadatta to borrow some money from him and start a business all by himself for the livelihood. Ratnanka went to Yakshadatta and asked to lend him some money to start a business. Yakshadatta laughed and gave him a dead rat and told that for an intelligent person, even a dead rat becomes a valuable investment. Ratnanga took the dead rat and sold it to a merchant who used that rat as a food item to his cat and instead gave Ratnanga a handful of Bengal gram. Children, let us plunge into our topic for today's session, the dead rat, part 2. But before that, let us learn some new words and their meanings which will help us for the better understanding of the lesson. Please concentrate on them. Procession. A group of people who are walking, riding, or driving in a line as a part of a public event. Here you can see in the picture, children, some people are going in a line as a part of an event. Soaked, which means extremely wet. Here you can see in the picture. By pouring some water into the gram, it will become wet. Swollen, larger than usual is the meaning for the word. Children, after soaking the gram in water, what will happen? The gram will rise in its size, it will increase in its size. Piled up. The meaning for this phrase is to increase in amount. Here you can see in the picture, children, the logs of wood had piled up. Hubdub, a loud, confusing noise. Millionaire, which means a very rich person. Grace, which means smoothness and elegance of movement. Borrowed, take and use anything from a person or an institution with the intention to repay it. Gratitude. Children, the meaning for this word is the quality of being thankful. Now let us check into the textual passage. Ratnanga took the Bengal gram home and soaked it in water. Next morning, he added some salt and pepper to the soaked and swollen Bengal gram, took drinking water in an earthen pitcher, went outside the city and sat under the shade of a tree and offered each woodcutter some Bengal gram and cold water. The hungry and thirsty woodcutters were pleased with Ratnanka's service, gave him 2 pieces of firewood each. By evening, the pieces piled up into a big heap, which Ratnanka sold away for 2 rupees in the city. Out of the 2 rupees, Ratnanka gave one to his grandmother towards savings, and with the other rupee purchased a kuncham, a kind of measuring unit for grains of Bengal gram. Children, this paragraph tells us that when Ratnanka sold the dead rat to a merchant, he gave Ratnanka some Bengal gram, which Ratnanka brought and soaked it in water. Next morning, he took the Bengal gram and also some cold water along with him. He served the Bengal gram and water to the thirsty woodcutters, who instead gave 2 pieces of firewood. Like that, Ratnanka has collected a lot of firewood. With that firewood, he sold and brought a lot of Bengal gram. Out of this, He soaked 1 kilo every day and sat under the same tree with cold water. In this way, he collected many cartloads of fuel within a month. Fortunately, there were incessant rains for 10 days, and as a result, there was a scarcity of firewood in the city. The firewood which Ratnaka had collected fetched him 100 gold coins. With that money, Ratnaka opened a firewood stall and began dealing in timber. From timber to cloth, from cloth to grain, and from grain to diamonds, his business progressed rapidly. Within a couple of years, Ratnaka became one of the leading merchants in the city. Children, this para says that Ratnaka used to serve the soaked Bengal gram and also the cold water to the thirsty woodcutters on a daily basis. Instead, he used to get a lot of firewood from them daily. At the end of the day, he used to have a lot of firewood. At last, what he did, he opened a stall, that means a shop of firewood. He had collected a lot of firewood, lot of logs of wood. Then, what happened? There were continuous rains in that city, and the firewood outside became wet and was of no use. At that point of time, Ratnanka's shop was of a great use to the people in that city. They came to Ratnanka and had bought a lot of firewood from him. In this way, he was able to earn 100 gold coins from his firewood shop. Children, here the success story of Ratnanka doesn't end. He progresses rapidly in his business from timber, that means the firewood, to cloth, and from cloth to grains business, and from grain to diamonds business. Like this way, he progressed in his business daily and he became one of the leading merchants in that city. He became very successful man. He became a millionaire. One day, Ratnanka got a rat made of gold, weighing 1 kilo. Its eyes were made of rubies, ears of sapphires, and it had a diamond chain around its neck. It was kept in a silver trap and carried in a procession with pomp. Ratnanka was leading the procession. When he reached the residence of Yakshadatta, he asked the procession to halt. Hearing the band and the noise of the procession, Yakshadatta came out of his house and inquired what all that pomp and hubbub was about. After becoming a rich man, what Ratnanka did is he got to make a golden rat which was studded with costly gems, rubies, sapphires, diamond chain around its neck, and also it was placed in a silver trap. And this rat was carried along with the procession with all the band, baja, drums, everything. It was halted, that means this procession was stopped before Yakshadatta's house. At the time, Yakshadatta was inside his house. When he came to hear the music and everything that was outside his house, he came out to see what was it all about. Children, here you can see clearly in the picture. Yakshadatta is standing out of his house, and here Ratnanka is holding the golden rat. And also see, you can see the people behind Ratnanka who came in a procession. Ratnanka addressed Yakshadatta thus: Sir, I became a millionaire by your grace. 2 years back, when I came to you for a loan, you gave me a dead rat. Your wise saying and the capital which I borrowed from you made me a rich man. Now I have come to repay your debt in the shape of a golden rat. Kindly accept this as a symbol of my gratitude. Akshadatta was amazed to hear his story. He was very pleased with the intelligence and gratitude of Ratnaka. Children, here Ratnaka is saying that 2 years back, when he came to borrow loan from Yakshadatta, he gave Ratnaka a dead rat as an investment. And also he told some good words which changed the life of Ratnanka. So, as thankfulness, what Ratnanka is doing here, he is offering a golden rat to Yakshadatta as a token of gift. Yakshadatta was surprised to see Ratnanka to become a successful person. His intelligence and his thankfulness wondered Yakshadatta a lot. Children, now let us see the comprehension part for better understanding. Let us check the summary of the passage. When Yakshadatta offered a dead rat as an investment, Ratnanka accepted it and he sold it to a merchant. The merchant gave him a handful of Bengal gram. Ratnanka took the Bengal gram and soaked them in water. Ratnanka offered the soaked Bengal gram and cold water to the hungry and thirsty woodcutters. The woodcutters instead gave him some firewood. Ratnanga collected all the firewood, which fetched him 100 gold coins during the time of scarcity. In this way, Ratnanga became a successful merchant in the city and earned a lot of money. As a token of gratitude, Ratnanga presented a gems-studded golden rat to Akshadatta. Akshadatta was amazed to hear the adventurous story of Ratnanka and was pleased with his gratitude. Children, now let us check into the question and answers part in this passage. How did the firewood which Ratnanka had collected fetch him 100 gold coins? The answer for this question is there were continuous rains for 10 days in Ratnanka's city, which resulted in scarcity of firewood. At that time, the wood that Ratnanka had collected got huge demand, which earned him 100 gold coins. How did Ratnanka show his gratitude to Yakshadatta? Ratnanka presented Yakshadatta with a golden rod weighing 1 kilo, whose eyes were made of rubies, ears of sapphires, and had a diamond chain around its neck, which was kept in a silver trap. And he presented this golden rod in a procession with pomp. How did Ratnanka help the woodcutters? Ratnanka helped the hungry and thirsty woodcutters with some soaked Bengal gram and cold water. Children, here we come to the end of our today's session. It is not only the end of the session, but also your textbook. If you were in the traditional classroom, now what you used to do after the end of the lessons? You used to clap, you used to cheer aloud. But now the situation is not so. You can cheer within yourself. But now here your duty starts to learn a lot. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye bye.